Happy New Year!
Okay, we are a few days early, but it's close enough.
Yeah, and of course, 2020 hasn't been the year we were all expecting. However, there is still plenty for us to look back on. So today we're going to be looking through what has gone on in the world of triathlon in 2020, as well as here at GTN.
Yeah, but let's not forget about our predictions as well, guys.
Oh yes, how could we forget our predictions from last year? I mean, we did think we were going to have a normal 2020, but let's see how they stacked up to what actually happened. Lionel to win the Ironman 70.3 Worlds, Guustavv to podium at Kona. I mean, that's two that haven't happened already. New Shimano group set, update of the Scott Plasma, Katie Zaferes to win the Olympics. Trek will unveil a disc brake version of their speed concept bike. Adidas coming back with a competitor to the Vaporfly 4%. GTN presenter to break a world record. Christian Blumenfeld to be the first male to win the Triple Crown. And see a previous non-podium place winner at Kona. I mean, that was kind of a bit ruined, wasn't it, from half of this year not happening?
That was actually after Fraser's saying that you always have a Kona winner is a previous podium finisher, which is a good observation by you.
But we've still got next year to prove it wrong.
I mean, we were a little bit stumped this year. Obviously, there was no Kona, there was no Olympic Games, so on and so forth, no Triple Crown, but we did still get a couple. So we got that there was a new Scott Plasma to be released this year, which obviously we had, which was very impressive. And then also a competitor to the Nike Vaporfly 4%. We had the new Adidas Carbon Plate shoe with its energy rods through it, which actually has gone on to break the half marathon world record. Now that's just two.
Do you know, we should have predicted Canyon, shouldn't we? We missed that one.
Well, we should have had. Guustavv did win the biggest race this year, the PTO 2020 Championships, even if he didn't podium at Kona. I'm not sure what we're thinking on the GTN world record. That was pretty bold, but we could budge that over to next year, and that's obviously a good motivation for us.
And talking about next year, I do think it's about time that we get started with some 2021 predictions. So I'm going to throw that GTN world record straight back in there.
Nice.
I think that's definitely going to sit there.
I think we should also budge over the Trek speed concept with disc brakes, because it's just got to come soon, surely.
They're getting left behind if they don't, aren't they?
Also, Guustavv, we're going to budge that one over, podium at Kona. After this performance at the PTO 2020 Championships, it's just, I don't know, it's a pretty safe bet.
It's still after the Olympics, isn't it? I mean, the format next year is going to be what we thought was this year.
So talking of the Olympics then, who do you think for the female winner?
Oh, it's so hard, isn't it? Because obviously we've just had a completely weird year, and we don't know which athletes have just taken the year to train, taken the year to rest, got over injuries, some have matured who weren't. I am still going with my prediction from last year, which is going to be Flora. I've got an allegiance there, and it's kind of a hope as much as a prediction.
I think I would have gone for Flora up until recently when she obviously was out of injury. I'm sure it's not going to be anything too prolonged, and I really do hope so. But I think I'm going to go for Jess Learmonth. She's been very strong this year.
Sticking with a Brit.
Yeah, and I agree with both of those, but I am going to go with an American who I think is getting better and better, Taylor Spivey.
I've got to say, actually, Taylor Spivey, that's a very good shout. She's been very impressive this past year or so. Now for the male winner for the Olympics, I'm going to go rather left field here. I'm going for Jonas Schomburg. And it's not the first time we've seen a German athlete come flying through in the Olympic Games that we didn't perhaps suspect. Jan Frodeno.
Yeah, I'm not going to go quite as left field with you there, Mark, but I see where you're going. I'm going to stick with my American theme. I have got a funny feeling a fast runner like Morgan Pearson.
How's that not left field? That's still very left field.
Are you just have you got some allegiance to the States or something?
No, I just think they haven't won an Olympic medal.
You feel sorry for them? I'm sure America would love to know that.
He, to be fair, he has been those run splits, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I should probably make it a little more obvious. We can't not mention Vincent Louis, can we? And, on the form he's had the last couple of years, I think he's got to have pretty good odds to win.
Yeah, fair play. And talking of a French athlete, I think we should put down France as the predicted winner for the mixed team relay at the Olympic Games.
Couldn't agree more. I think
I think that's one we can all agree on.
Okay, and then what about in terms of world champions this year? If we just put in a prediction for a double world champion, so someone that wins, like an ITU world champs or an Xterra world champs, 70.3 Ironman world champs, someone to win two.
I think this could be a good year, like we thought last year, because obviously the Olympics have happened, so ITU Worlds can then put that behind them and then say, right, we've got how many weeks to get ready for, I don't know when 70.3 Worlds is going to be next year after all the changes. Is it still going to be late again? So that opens up quite a possibility. I mean, I don't know who, but yeah, I'd
Guustavv
say.
Eden, maybe.
I think that's an obvious one.
Flora to win Xterra and the Olympics. I mean, there's quite. I think once we start drilling down, we can see a couple different people having a possibility.
And then, we were talking a little bit about the shoes earlier, the Adidas shoe. Obviously, we had the Ineos 159. That was an unofficial world record for the half marathon distance. Could we actually see a sub 2 hour marathon?
I can do the half.
A sub 2 hour marathon.
Wow, yeah, well, in in one of the majors like London or in Chicago or I mean, it's pretty quick. What do you think?
I mean, I hope so. Whether it'll happen next year or whether it'll be in 5 years' time, but it's going to happen, isn't it?
Well,
in our lifetime, I hope.
Putting it down.
All right, now for my favourite bit. It's time to reflect and look back on what fun and slightly odd things we got up to in 2020. And this first one certainly made some of you guys chuckle, and we had a bit of fun filming it. It was the 10 ways to enter a swimming pool.
Let's ease ourselves in here. There's no shame in relaxing, catching a few rays by the swimming pool. However, at some point, you'll likely need to cool yourself off. Welcome the discreet sausage roll into the pool. Oh, and then we have the professional. Whilst you're enjoying a leisurely swim, this person will likely turn up. Overly confident, cocky, he shows the whole pool he means business. Show off.
Well, that was a lot of fun, but what you guys didn't see was us having to repeat this over and over again to get all the cutaways and all the people in the pool giving us rather odd looks.
Yeah, we're a professional triathlon channel, obviously.
Yeah, hopefully Platus Resort in Fuerteventura do invite us back. But now moving on to something rather cool this year in GTN, we got to go to the wind tunnel. That was seriously cool. I mean, literally cool.
Yeah, cool. I mean, it went from standing on poolside in the sunshine, jumping into nice warm water was quite pleasant. Getting into a wind tunnel when I thought, yes, I'm filming indoors because I don't like the cold in the winter. And I was like, brilliant, frost on the ground. We're inside today. And it was Baltic, but still, it was worth it because we got some really interesting numbers.
And then unfortunately, we hit an isolation period here in the UK, and obviously most of the rest of the world did too. So we did the best as we could as a channel to keep pumping those videos out.
Yeah, it was certainly a learning curve for us. Literally overnight, we were handed camera equipment, had to turn our homes into sets, and to be honest, we're still going with that. But to be clear, we're not used to operating cameras.
In case you hadn't noticed many of those videos back then.
we don't normally do this, so we literally quickly had to learn how to operate these cameras, audio equipment, and so on and so forth. And I'll tell you what, there were a lot of videos that were shot out of focus, no audio, we had to reshoot them. Yeah, we learned hard.
We did, and
fast.
if that wasn't enough of a challenge for ourselves, Mark and I gave ourselves an extra challenge of trying to beat our 5K PBs with polar opposite training programs. You went for that short, fast one. I stupidly, don't know what I was thinking, went for the long, slow one. It didn't work so well for me, but you got pretty close to your PB. I was impressed. But most excitingly, you guys got involved as well.
And let's not forget, Fraser got involved in the very last video as well. You posted a pretty good 5K.
I'd completely forgotten too that I did it. I mean, it was point to point with a tailwind and maybe even yeah. No, I enjoyed it. It was
You
good.
said you were going to keep going. Did that happen?
Yeah, that kind of fell off a cliff.
Well, anyway, also another learning curve for us was actually when we started to do some evening workouts live for you guys to follow along, both bike and run, which again, it took a bit of learning because we had to set up these live feeds, make sure the image worked, it wasn't blurry. It got better as the weeks went on.
Oh, it was quite stressful.
Well, as more and more people started training indoors, we all became a little bit more interested in the setups that we had. So we thought we'd take a look at the pros and what they were doing. And to be honest, the variety was quite interesting. And then we had a very special feature of Luke and Beth Mackenzie's rather interesting pain cave.
Welcome to the office.
Thanks for having us.
Well, this is actually the second office. The first office was actually in Encinitas in Southern California, where Beth and I first met. And in 2015, we bought a place in Noosa, and straight away we knew that we needed to recreate the office, and so this is the new and improved version of the Noosa office.
Welcome to our pain cave.
Oh, we do like being nosy, don't we? But one of the big highlights of this year has to be seeing Lucy Charles-Barkley and our very own Heather doing a TikTok-style dance. Well, Heather, it looked like you guys had a lot of fun there.
I couldn't watch that again. I can't believe you put that in. I mean, we had fun, but I didn't really enjoy or appreciate watching it back.
Yeah, well, we also had a lot of other fun challenges this year. And Mark, you and Samuel, you started taking this to another level altogether with a 100k trail race. Run, rather, wasn't really. Well, you're racing each other.
Maybe we were racing each other.
And then we had the Everesting run after that. I mean, rather you than me.
How hard is it to run 100 kilometres? Well, I'd imagine it's a question you've never bothered asking because, well, you likely know the answer. But still, I, rather foolishly, thought I'd be the guinea pig in this, purely for your entertainment. Hello, and welcome back to round 2 of Sam and Mark's Stupid Adventures.
Yes, we are both getting prepped and ready because tomorrow we are attempting an Everesting. But as you can see, neither of us are packing our bikes here, just our running shoes, because tomorrow we are attempting an Everesting run. That's right.
What are we doing, Sam? I mean, I'm really beginning to question our sanity here. Last it was a 100k run. Now this, I mean, one thing for sure, this is going to hurt a heck of a lot. My left ITB is excruciating. Yeah, I do think perhaps Sam and myself did take it a little bit too far this year, but we did have great fun. It was something we were really keen to do, both of us, and just thought, heck, why not film it? It was a bit of a personal challenge to see whether we could actually achieve this. We really weren't sure, and we thought we'd bring you along for it whilst we're fit and healthy and able to do this, and you can see some of the challenges we went through, which I'm sure many of you do go through day to day with your training. Also, other big challenges we had this year, we had Lucy Charles-Barkley and Reece Charles-Barkley join us for a big showdown on Out to Zwift as we went runner versus cyclist. There has always been some rivalry between the two, and we have found the perfect battleground for runners and cyclists to duke it out once and for all. We'll be using Zwift's grueling Alpe d'Huez, a virtual version of the legendary Alpe d'Huez climb within France. Naturally, we're roping our friends in from GTN for the cycling and ourselves at GTN for the running. But just to add more to the mix, we have invited some familiar faces, Lucy and Reece Charles-Barkley, who have actually decided to take on one another. Lucy will be cycling and Reece will be running. I tell you what, there are going to be fireworks. We also did a virtual cat and mouse race with Tim Don and Ruth Assel. Then we raced GCN on Zwift. race that we've all been waiting for, triathletes versus cycling. And I raced Heather on foot while she swam.
Yeah, I can do this. She's there. I think that might be my ferry here. Oh, there you go. He's up dinner. Look who it is. Here she is. Couldn't get closer, could it? And here's the exit. The only problem is I think she might have a quicker exit than me. I've got to sort of get off this boat whereas she can just run straight out. It's going to be a hill sprint. This could have been closer. Could have done sprint finish.
Oh, I still can't get over how close that was, and we 100% didn't fix it. I mean, I was just lucky I was on the right-hand side to take that win. But you, I can imagine asking for a rerun.
I honestly can't, yeah, like you say, I can't believe how close it was. When I came to that shore and I saw you swimming, I was like, no way! Come on, quick, get that boat to get back over. That was brilliant.
Well,
That's
I think we
fun.
should find maybe a nice sunny location and do a rerun next year, maybe.
Sounds good.
But also, obviously, Mark, we can't forget venturing up north in the UK to the Helvellyn Tri.
Like many of you out there, we have been chomping at the bit to watch some actual triathlon racing and maybe even toe the line ourselves. So when we got wind that a small race in the UK called the Helvellyn Triathlon was taking place, we just had to get ourselves an entry. So Heather and myself excitedly got ourselves to the Lake District to take part in this unusual event. And due to the PTO's support, has attracted a whole bunch of pros too, including the likes of Alistair Brownlee and Joe Skipper. Well, that was a monstrous race, but I gotta say, I'm weirdly tempted to go back and do it again. I don't know if you are, Heather.
I actually would love to. I just would hope the weather's slightly nicer.
Yeah,
Get
true.
to make the most of the view, all that climbing, and you can't even see anything at the top.
Or actually know where the top is, which is the biggest issue as we kept going. But whilst we were up there, we made the most of being in the beautiful Lake District, and we took on a rather challenging swim-run course that we actually designed ourselves.
Personally, for me, well, it was the Ironman World Championship record attempt that you guys took on, and geez, you guys worked pretty hard with that one, and also with the help of Kat Matthews stepping in as well. That was some effort.
Together, it's amazing that I'm not fitter. We're not. Well, I'm not talking about you, but not fitter than we are. I mean, we then went and just ran a casual sort of 38, 40k. You finished in quite a respectable time. I finished in the dark, but it was an experience, that FKT.
Breath, and I'm not even 3 minutes in. Started with a very, very sharp hill to begin with. I missed side, we can see Bath. I love this view. One of my all-time favourites. How many times I say that? Onwards.
Oh no.
I'm very slippy. Before I do that again.
Well, talking of silly and crazy challenges, you may well have seen one of our recent GTN videos in which I do a half marathon every day for a week. And if you haven't watched it already, please do head on over and watch it because I put a lot of work into it. As the title suggests, I ran a half marathon every day for a week in and around work, life, crammed it in, my food, my diet. You get to see all of it, the highs, the lows, the lot. And that video was made possible thanks to Newzest, who literally did help me through the week with their recovery and their nutrition products, which are all actually plant-based, which is a nice added bonus, which sits quite nicely with me. But the reason I'm mentioning this today is because we've got a rather exciting giveaway thanks to Newzest, where we're going to be handing out a year's supply of nutrition products up to the price of £1,450, all delivered in one parcel, of course, rather than dotted through the year. You'll get recovery products, their Good Green Vitality, all the shakers and everything to go with it. If that's of interest to you, then do get involved in the giveaway. The link for that is in the description just below this. Enter into that and then we'll be announcing the winners in the new year.
Well, it's safe to say that 2020 did not pan out like we had thought it would, but here is hoping that 2021 has a much more familiar theme to it and we can start getting back to races, looking forward to races happening, and generally just doing a bit more triathlon.
Yeah, if anything, just for our predictions.
Well, fingers crossed as well that there's not going to be any more lockdowns when we have to film ourselves for the sake of our wonderful creators having to edit that, and also for you guys watching it. But if you're one of those people that really got onto the running craze of 2020 and you want a new target for the new year, well, we've got a brilliant video coming up on how to train for a half marathon for beginners.
Yeah, and please do give this video a like. Don't forget to give us a follow over on social media and subscribe just down below. We also have some fantastic videos that have just come out on the channel. We had our 6 Hills of Bath challenge and also, of course, my half marathon every day for a week. Please do give that a watch.